are you guys? Hope everything is fine. As we all know that the COVID is all around the world and it's one of the drastic things and all. So today, so now right here, this episode, right, this is another episode that we are going to go ahead and release from our end, and we just request you guys to just view us, right? You can share it, right, as much as possible, because this will definitely give the awareness of Dr. Shyama Prasad. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone for watching it up and to share it and for the comments, and you can definitely leave the feedback to us, right, which will be definitely valuable for us also to improve, or maybe, right, we can bring something new.
Shyama Prasad established himself as the most towering leader of Bengal in a matter of only 6 to 7 years, and then quickly attracted limelight in all India politics and emerged as arguably the most important opposition voice in parliament in independent India. His crusade during the Bengal famine to serve and save lakhs of victims of famine in 1943 must set at rest any doubt on this issue. While Muslim League ministry operated in a nexus with the British regime, creating and festering this dangerous famine which devoured nearly 3.5 million lives of Hindus and Muslims, Shyama Prasad worked tirelessly to raise resources, serve and save as many lives as possible. These points, we think that these are enough to prove Shyama Prasad Mukherjee as a non-communal nationalist. This shows that how Shyama Prasad Mukherjee had sacrificed his life for the country tirelessly and selflessly. Now, this much for today's intro section. Let us move to our episode. Thank you. Namaskar.
Giving vent to the fear of the Muslim League, its leader, ex-Congressman Muhammad Ali Jinnah, called a press conference at his Mumbai residence in July 1946 to announce that the Muslim League had chalked out a plan to launch a struggle for achieving their demand of an independent state. We will either have a divided India or a destroyed India, Jinnah stated. One of the first steps towards the said struggle was calling of a general strike, Hartal, on 16 August 1946 and termed it as Direct Action Day. 16th August was cleverly chosen by Jinnah as that year it was the 18th day of Ramzan, the day the Prophet Muhammad waged the fierce battle of Badr, defeating the non-believers and conquering Mecca. Hence, it was a significant day for the Islamists and was an indirect call by Jinnah to repeat their triumph over the heathens. This call in itself established Jinnah as a bigot, for removed from the polished, elitist image he used to carry earlier on.
Of the total of 1585 seats, it owned 923, which was 58.23%. The All India Muslim League owned 425 seats, which was 26.81% of the total, placing it as the second ranking party. It captured all Muslim constituencies in the Central Assembly as well as the most of the Muslim constituencies in the provincial legislatures. The vote now opened the path to Pakistan. The system of separate electorates ensured that Muslim contestants would compete with other Muslim candidates instead of facing non-Muslim contestants. Thus, the establishment of Pakistan was debated mainly among Muslims themselves. The Muslim League's biggest success was in Bengal, where out of 119 seats for Muslims, it owned 113. The League reinforced its vote in the Muslim minority provinces. It owned 54 out of 64 Muslim seats in the United Provinces and 34 of Bihar's 40 Muslim seats. It captured all Muslim seats in Bombay and Madras. The party demonstrated that it was the representative of Muslim India.
Early in February, the Bengal Hindu Sabha constituted a committee for the creation of a separate province for the Hindus of Bengal and began campaigning in the districts. In the first week of April, it convened a 3-day-long Bengal Hindu conference at Tarakeshwar, starting on the 4th and attended by over 400 delegates from all over Bengal and over 50,000 people. In his presidential address on the first day of the conference, Nirmal Chandra Chatterjee lauded the successful agitation against Karjan's partition of Bengal as the most outstanding chapter in the history of Bengal. He said the British had restored to the partition of the province in order to cripple the greatest nationalist force working for independence of the country by making the Bengal Hindus minorities in both the provinces.
Now, the Communist Party of India had presented 108 candidates, out of whom only 8 own a seat. The setback came as a result of the decision of the party not to support the Quit India movement of 1942. 7 out of 8 seats it owned were reserved for Labour representatives. All in all, the Communist Party obtained 2.5% of the popular vote. Albeit far from competing with the two main parties, the Communists became the third force in terms of the popular vote. Amongst the Communist candidates elected were Jyoti Basu, Railways constituency in Bengal, Ratanlal Burman, Darjeeling, and Roop Narayan Rai, Dinajpur. The results for the Northwest Frontier province came through in March. Congress achieved a strong majority, largely due to the personality of Abdul Ghaffar Khan, enabling them to form a government without trouble.
Undivided Bengal at that time was the only state which was ruled by the Muslim League led by Hussain Shahi Suryawardi, the Prime Minister of Bengal. The Muslim League had been strengthened when the ex-Chief Minister of Bengal, A.K. Fazlul Haq, joined its rank as the latter Krishak Praja Party failed to garner majority support of the people of Bengal. This could have been averted had the Congress supported the KPP, as was proposed by Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Some Bengal Congress leaders were also not averse to the above idea, but the Congress central leadership was adamant in their stand of not letting support to Hawke's KPP, a decision which spelled disaster for Bengal subsequently, with the Muslim League emerging as the most powerful political party there.
In the Punjab, the concerted efforts of the Muslim League led to its greatest success, winning 75 seats of the total Muslim seats and becoming the largest single party in the assembly. The Unionist Party suffered heavy losses, winning only 20 seats in total. The Congress was the second largest party, winning 43 seats, whilst the Sikh-centric Akali Dal came third with 22 seats. In Assam, Congress owned all of the general seats, and most of those reserved for special interest, thus forming the local government. The Muslim League owned all of the Muslim seats.
The reason for demanding partition now he explained, was to sustain Bengali Hindu nationalism, carve out a separate homeland for the Bengali Hindu people and constitute it was province within India and preserve the Bengali culture and heritage. He further emphasized that it was a question of life or death for the Bengali Hindus. On 5th April, Shyama Prasad, in his speech at the Bengal Hindu Conference at Tarakeshwar, suggested the partition of Bengal as the only solution of the communal problem. On the concluding day of the conference, the proposal of the partition was formally raised on behalf of Bengal Hindu Sabha at Sanat Kumar Raichaudhuri and Surya Kumar Bose. A resolution was passed at the Bengal Hindu Conference at Tarakeshwar, authorizing Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee to constitute a council of action in order to establish a separate homeland for the Bengali Hindus. It was decided that 1 lakh volunteers would be enrolled for the purpose by the end of June. The Constituent Assembly was to be requested to appoint a boundary commission for the partition of the province.
Now, in the Muslim majority province of Sindh, the Muslim League owned the most seats. Congress, however, also achieved strong results and initially hoped to form a coalition in government with 4 Muslims who had defected from the Muslim League. At the last minute, one of the 4 Muslims dissidents went over to the Muslim League, handling the majority of 1. Congress then lobbied 3 European members who would swing the balance of power into their favor. But their overtures were rejected. The governor of Sindh therefore asked the Muslim League to form the local government.
So we would like to thank you for hearing us, and we would just request you once again to go ahead and share it as much as you can, and you can guys go ahead and view it as we would love to take your feedbacks, guys, because that's one of the valuable things. We have the Facebook channel, Facebook group over there with the Shyama Prasad Enlightenment Federation. We have the YouTube channel with the national icon. We are on the Instagram also. So guys, we just want your cooperation with us at this part of time, because resources are very less. However, we know that we need to improve a lot, but it will take certain time. So we would definitely say beg us for the, or pardon us for this time, and support us so that we can make more beautiful videos. Coming episode, right, you guys will be able to see fantastic artists will be there, right, who you'll be guys hearing them, that how this song was actually sung. So that's all from my end, guys. Thank you so much for today. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.